Hello fellow travelers, and welcome to another episode of In-Depth Boss Guide series, where we take a closer look at Tevat's major threats. I'm too lazy to be awesome, and this time we'll talk about Aeonblight Drake. Aeonblight Drake has two forms, grounded and airborne, and just as with other mechanical enemies, you can paralyze it by attacking its cores in any form while they are exposed, during which they generally glow brighter. Additionally, you can stun Aeonblight Drake by shooting both of its thrusters while it's chilling in the air. When boss wakes up after being stunned, it switches between forms. Another common thing for mechanical enemies is increased physical resistance, so it's better to use elemental damage against the boss. Moreover, Aeonblight Drake can adapt during the fight, absorbing the element it's taking the most damage from and increasing its resistance to it. If it doesn't look like much, increased resistance basically makes the boss take 3 times less damage. You can prevent the boss from absorbing element if you stun it in the process, or remove the buff if you stun the boss afterwards. After successfully absorbing an element, Aeonblight Drake also switches between its forms, and for each form, boss has specific set of attacks. In the beginning of a fight, Aeonblight Drake will always stay on the ground. In this form, it tries to stay close to you and hit you with its tail sweep if you're in range. It might also combo it with 2 prior nose attacks if you stay right in front of it. The most important thing you should know is that damage from tail sweep occurs not when tail touches your character, but when it almost makes a full spin, no matter where you stand. So in order to avoid this attack with iframes, you have to delay your dash, even though sometimes it feels wrong. If you stand further from the boss, it might instead try to launch its thrusters into you, and sometimes it performs a tail sweep first. Nothing uncommon here, just move away or rely on iframes. And lastly, if you stay too far, boss will charge at you and you can either move away from its path or stun the boss by hitting the core on its head. While boss is in the air, however, it tends to stay away from you and it will fly away if you come closer. In this state, it also can charge at you, and it's basically the same as grounded version. Boss can also fire a burst of bullets, which you can either dash away from or rely on iframes and dash through, or it can fire missiles, which you can avoid if you simply keep moving, and the further you are, the easier it will be. There is nothing interesting in these attacks, and all of them are pretty straightforward with no surprises when it comes to dealing with them apart from tail sweep. And to be honest, that's the only move you have to be able to avoid, and here's why. No matter what team composition you prefer, to fight Aeonblight Drake without any problem, you just need to stay close while it's on the ground. This way you'll have to deal only with tail sweeps and maybe occasional nose bumps. As soon as you get used to timings with dashes, this part shouldn't be a problem. Then when boss is trying to absorb an element, you can either stun it or completely ignore it if you can handle AoE in any other way. As soon as boss flies up after that, you can stun it by shooting its thrusters, which takes just a couple of seconds. This will bring it down and also removes resistance buff if boss got one. Then just repeat it until you win. Easy. Although stunning the boss while it's in the air is useful, stunning it while it's on the ground is basically pointless. Stun will only last for about 5 seconds, and right after that, boss will switch to its airborne form, so you will only lose time by doing so. The only viable reason to stun the boss on the ground is to interrupt massive AoE and element absorption. In order to keep this cycle going, you just need to bring any bow-wielding character. And remember that relying on physical damage is not the best idea for this fight due to boss high resistance to it, so it's better to use teams with mainly elemental damage. There is just one hidden achievement related to Aeonblight Drake that you can earn. In order to get it, you have to interrupt its charge by shooting core on its head. You can do it with charge in any form, but it's more consistent and charge is way easier to provoke if boss is on the ground. There are also achievements related to Aeonblight Drake in Challenger section, and if you are interested in those, you can find simple ways to get them in my other video. Anyway, that's all for now, fellow travelers. Have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next one.